Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So we are going to be continuing our discussion about Dead Like Me. We are going to be talking about episode 9, Sunday Mornings. So this is a pretty big departure from what we have seen so far. So first off, my prayers have been answered and we finally have a Roxy-centric episode. It has been 3 episodes of her just being gone and she's finally returned. So Roxy has been out of the show since Betty left. She completely missed Daisy's intro and now she's back. And they're just kind of breezing on through, not really acknowledging it. They act as if they know each other really well and they have a decent enough relationship where they can banter with each other. They clearly don't like each other very much though. This episode has really, like I said, taken a departure where instead of trying to focus on this plot and this plot and that plot, we're really zeroing in on just a few plots and just driving that story forward. The A plot is that George goes to a college campus with Mason for her reap. Somebody dies, she makes a friend named Charlotte. Mason saved Charlotte from getting raped, and Mason has this infatuation with her because she's a very pretty girl, she's intelligent, she has a lot of interests of things that he's not really interested in, and it makes him interested in them, like the sonnets. Our B plot, which is that Roxy is doing her day job, she encounters this guy who's a big PRICK. She rips his soul out of his body and basically tells him, you need to stop messing with me or I'm gonna make your life even more difficult. Sticks his soul back in, and this guy has this religious experience. He starts making up words. He believes that Roxy is this prophet that has come to just change the face of the world, and he is the one who has to spread the message. Both of these plots make the story go really fast because we're not focusing on a bunch of different side plots. We have one last little layer in all of this that is not really a plot, but it's more just a sprinkling dusting, is that JD is really uniting the last family. It seems like Clancy is becoming more involved and that Clancy is really latching onto this dog. So in our A plot, which is about Charlotte and George, their friendship is developing throughout the episode. It ebbs and it flows. George gets frustrated with her. They end up having a friend breakup. They get back together. They discuss kind of how they want to move forward. They really want to have this discussion with Clancy. Millie really wants to figure out if he misses his daughter, and Charlotte wants to see if she can help him move on. And they end up sitting down with him near the end of the episode. George finds out that Clancy kind of just moved on. There was a long time ago where they were really close, and because of the way that Georgia was acting, he kind of just let her go. And we find out his parenting style, that he thought if he just let his daughter have her space, that she would eventually come back. And that might be his MO with Reggie, that might be his MO with Joy, and that may just be how he operates as a human being. And clearly Joy is not that type of person. She's not gonna be the one that's gonna go begging for it to be fixed, and Clancy's not gonna be the one to initiate anything. So that explains why they've continued to drift. There's not any point where it's explained when or why he started his extramarital affair, but we do see that something is developing near the end with Charlotte, which is another affair, because at the beginning of the series, Clancy was sleeping with somebody from his class consistently. Then in our B plot, as we talked about, Roxy pulled the soul out of this guy and she has to make him into a jerk again. So she visits him a few more times and he's progressing, he's getting worse. And she finally has to just kind of stop him and grab him by his balls and squeeze really tight until he's a jerk again, because if she lets him continue on, then he's gonna start talking about it. He's gonna tell people about it, and it will mean bad things for Roxy as a Grim Reaper. And maybe people will believe this guy, maybe they won't, but it's not gonna look good for her long term. So she has to fix that. And what's really fantastic about this entire episode is that it is Roxy-centric. We do have this major plot that runs through the entire episode, and we get to see Roxy just kind of be this cool BA person that she is. And it's such a sickening episode for her because we do get Jasmine Guy just being fierce. And that's what I love about Roxy's character, is that she is just fierce and fabulous and gives no bothers about anyone or anything. So I have two quotes that are my favorite from this one. One of them is a Georgia quote, and that is when Charlotte goes by to invite George out to kind of make up from their friend breakup. Mason comes by in an effort to try to flirt with Charlotte, and Georgia says, "You can't come. We're going to lesbian bars to drink Jack Daniels and make out with big women." And the second quote that is one of my favorites from this episode is another Daisy quote, and she and Roxy are talking, and Daisy says, "When there's a Broadway musical about your styleless but comfortable shoes, I will gladly walk a mile in them." I really enjoy this episode. I think it moves really fast. It does address a lot of really important pieces about Clancy's backstory. It helps determine where he's going in the future, and it helps George kind of start letting go, which is something that she really needed to do. She has her memories and her thoughts and her feelings, and as she revisits them, they start to become cloudier, and maybe letting go is the best thing for her, because then she can hold on to the preciousness of those memories and not really remember all of the bad times and the things that she did to maybe instigate some of the negative things that happened in the family. So that has been my thoughts about this episode. Join me next time. I'll see you then.